Season 6, Episode 3. Johnny and Amy, they are meeting each other, and his eyes lit up so bright, so bright. They run to each other. They cannot stop kissing. He gets straight to the point and goes down on his knees. I'm like, this is like such a love story to me. I'm like just sitting here like with my elbow to my chin, and I'm like, oh. Anyway, she is there telling him that somebody in her family had a dream and she had two kids and they're light brownish blondish hair. And I'm looking at her like, girl, are you a witch? And when they were in the pod, she mentioned how she prayed for a little brother and she got the brother. So I'm just kidding. Honestly, I don't think she's a witch, but she has such an innocence almost about her that will just, you have to love her. So I love them. I love them. I'm so happy for them. It's like, just hurry and get married. They got it. Seriously. They're on that bench. She got makeup on him and she tried to brush it off and he just like grabbed her, like she turned around and he just grabbed her and ended up holding her backwards. Oh my, when was the last time you've been hugged like that? I've been hugged recently, but there's some awkward love, whether it's too tight or sideways or just like, yeah, okay, thank you. But I haven't had one of those hugs in a very long time. That is such a beautiful sight to see. So back in the ladies' den, Laura is telling Danielle and Sunny her best pickup moves, right? It's very funny to hear her say every week she had a technique. I never thought about that. And I think that's a good thing to try. It's like you're getting into character every week, who am I going to be? Anyways, so she's that was one of her techniques that she would, go out, bump into guys and then start talking to them, but they were always in a majority of the time they were in a relationship. And then she said the best one was, you're giving them that death stare. I don't know if it was supposed to be a sexy death stare, but it was giving scary eye. She kind of reminded me of Cameron Diaz a little bit. Yeah, she does she favor her a little bit? Kind of, sort of. I wear glasses, and I'm not saying that she's, unattractive because, like I said, they're all beautiful. But she does kind of feature, resemble, plus her character, her personality kind of give me Cameron Diaz. And remember, Cameron Diaz, she's like silly, she's funny, she's serious. She will get back at you. Cameron Diaz is like everything. Back at the men's den, Jamal and Clay are having a conversation. Clay is opening up to Jamal and he's getting very emotional. I'm sorry, Jamal just touched on Clay and he's saying, he's never done therapy and he's an emotional type of guy. His nose is getting all stuffy. Oh, and then Jamal expressed to Clay that even though his glasses are tinted, he cries all day. And that just made me, it touched me so much because so many of us are going through so many things. And, we're all really relatable, in some capacity. And I appreciate seeing that. It showed that, men, there are real men out there with emotions. I appreciate y'all. I really do. Thank you. Clay and AD are on a date, and he just comes off automatically apologizing for swearing, apologized for his mannerism and pretty much how he treated, how he pretty much apologized for his response. He said, he's not used to being vulnerable, and he knows that she's a good girl. When she told him who she was having the connection with, I guess he saw through Matthew and knew that he was not sincere, but he's pouring out his heart and it's not being reciprocated. Or not like it wasn't being reciprocated, but just to know that there's somebody else there. So, anyways, she apologized. She apologized for her doings as well. Let me tell you, I love how they both just dropped their guards, just laid it on the floor, right? They allowed each other to, express themselves. And then they just started filling each other up with things that they were saying and how they're going to, I think they said fill each other up also. Just be there for one another. I love that. I love that. I love that. I appreciate Clay's openness, and I just want to touch his hand, honestly. I don't even want to give him a hug because I think that would be too personal, but I just want to touch his hand. And I love seeing this moment. We need more of these moments, and a lot of those moments exist, but we really don't get to see them. So I love that moment. And he's telling her goodnight, and she said, I think he said all day, and she's like all good, because they resolved their issues. I just thought that was such an important scene to see. It was so genuine to me, and I really appreciate seeing that. Brittany and Kenneth are on a painting date. He set it up for her. She's squealing. She says, I love you. Then she's sitting on the couch eating popcorn. She asked about his family's background. He said black. And he presumes that she is white. And they spoke back and forth about their comfort level being around each other's races, each other's culture. And he mentions that he's in a leadership role at his church. And that's like a plus plus, for her as well. They spoke about waiting until marriage, and he's definitely for that. I love that these young folks, let me not say that. I love how they are showing this as well, that there are people like this, young folks that don't have to be humping around, that actually wants to get to know each other before they actually connect. Anyways, I appreciate seeing that. That was refreshing to see. I'm liking what I'm seeing from these past three couples so far: Kenneth and Brittany, Amy and Johnny, and Clay and AD. I like that. Back at the women's lounge, Laura is speaking to Sunny, and she's telling Sunny she is excited about her date later on with Jeremy. And then she started talking about compatibility and how she's never been with anyone that was compatible to her. And then she started talking to Sunny about Sarah and how she's actually helping her out, but she doesn't know, or she's not going to disclose that they're dating the same guy. I don't know how I feel about that. I would not want you. I know at some point two people are going to be possibly interested in the same guy or girl. That's going to happen, right? But I feel like maybe Sarah Ann should kept her mouth shut. Yeah. And you see, it seems like the ones that open their mouth It seems like the ones that speak about the relationship they have are the ones that are actually not ending up in relationships. Well, it was just one person. Yeah, but yeah. Jamie and Jamie, Jeremy and Laura, they're on a date. He's in one of his Hawaiian shirts. The first thing she asks, "Do you snore?" He tells her he has sleep apnea, and he actually uses a machine. And she is cackling, I guess that's what they call it. And then she's like, "Wait, what if you bring it out on the first night? You know, when we're together." She's laughing about it, but I think deep down she's cringing, like, "Oh my gosh," because she's very OCD. So he said that he forgot it. So she's like, "How are we gonna sleep?" He's like, "You act like we're gonna sleep." And he looks so he looks so nerdy. Well, he doesn't look 100% nerdy, right? He looks like 75% nerdy, but you can tell, like, under his clothes, he is like sexy. Like, personality and everything is just sexy. And I think she knows it. And I think she's really trying to fill him out because, like I said, she kind of given me a Cameron Diaz type of vibe. They're talking about holidays. He mentions how it's been pretty lonely for him. She starts talking about the lack of family orientation within her family around the holidays, and she doesn't want that. He expressed to her the same sentiments, and then he's there talking about how he envisioned the Christmases. He's doing both sides of the family coming over. Both sides of the family are coming over. He's he's going to put down his boots in the snow. He's going to have mimosas, matching pajamas. They're family planning, okay? They are family planning. This is serious. She's even getting hot and like getting up, walking around. She can feel the intensity, the passion in it. So I don't think Sarah Ann, was that her name? Yes, Sarah Ann. I don't think she's, oh God, I'm sorry, Sarah Ann. You're very cute as well. And she kind of gives me a Miley Cyrus kind of, before when Miley Cyrus came out, started singing, that kind of came out. She gave me that, you know, big eye, innocent Miley Cyrus. So, anyways, they are family planning. They're about to get married, point blank. Ann and why was I going to say Sean? Sarah Ann and Jeremy, they're on a date. She automatically talking about how her face, she feels like her face is drooping. Well, she said her Botox is drooping. And he's walking around the couch like, okay, uh-huh. Then she said, no, he tried to be relatable with her and said he gets fillers in his lip. And she was like, really? He said, no, no, I don't. And then she said she gets fillers in her lips, and he's like, top or bottom lip. And then he asked her, how many followers do you have? I think, I forgot what platform. She's like, is that a deal breaker? Maybe like 4,000. Listen, that man is like, she is too young for me. Yeah, he's feeling her out there, even though honestly, they're not too far apart in age. But her demeanor is completely opposite than of Laura. Like, she's just so childlike. I am not saying that she's immature, but it's just personality wise. He more His personality fits more with Laura. She needs a younger 29, 30-year old guy, and he's quite, he's more, he's already telling like dad jokes he's that type of guy. And Laura is just cracking up at all of his jokes whenever he tells her. So I feel like he's gonna definitely go with Laura because they were already family planning. Over here, he's talking about fillers and Botox and followers, so the conversation is completely opposite. And Jeremy asked Sarah Ann if she has any more accounts or any secret accounts. She said she started OnlyFans last year. He was like, he got so quiet. She was like, I'm just messing with you. They start talking about politics and expressing their views and, you know, I'm not even going to get into it. And then he's mentioning to her that he wants to take her, his father passed away and it was quick, but he wants to take her to his cemetery in Florida. That's a sacred space. And he carves out time just for that. Okay. So far from the show, right? I think I'm gonna start. I'm gonna get a book. Every guy that I meet, not now, but in the future, I am gonna have a book about them. I love the questions. I love the topic of discussion that each of these people whom are dating are having, the genuine conversations. Talking about politics is important. You should have some sort of meeting of, not necessarily meeting of the minds, but you should be able to reason. Even if you guys are on opposing team, it's fine, but you guys should be able to reason each other. If you guys are very much into politics, you should be able to have political talks at home. I like that. So I'm going to be intentional and getting a book and writing down certain things about people and asking more intentional questions. I enjoy seeing this episode. They got very sentimental, but I feel as if he's really analyzing. You can tell he's very analytical. So he's analyzing both, even though he's having a heart to heart, the connection, there's more connection with Laura than there is with Sarah Ann. He connects with Sarah Ann as well, but yeah. So in the women's lounge, Brittany and Jessica are having a conversation. And Jessica is laying on the couch telling Brittany that her and Kenneth are going to ride off into the sunset. Jessica looks as if she feels as if she's not a priority. I feel as if she feels something, because she's laying on the couch. She was very emotional, and I know she misses her baby, but it's almost like she's ill to me. That nauseating feeling that you get in the pit of your stomach sometimes. I feel as if that's how she's feeling. In the men's lounge, Kenneth and Ariel are talking. Kenneth is trying to describe what he thinks Brittany looks like and explaining to him that she will be the first Caucasian woman that he's ever dated, and his family is okay with it. It's time for Brittany and Kenneth to go on a date. She walks into a room with flowers. She starts getting emotional because she knows what's coming. Anyways, he sits down. He starts expressing and professing his love for her, to her, and then he asks her to marry him, and she says yes. Back in the women's quarters, Jessica is talking to Mackenzie and telling her how much she loves Jimmy. She is so emotional with it. I feel as if she's not quite sure, honestly. She even says, like, what if he doesn't pick me, something to that. I feel like her emotions are all over the place, to be honest with you. She is, yeah, her emotions are all over the place. And, she mentioned in another scene that, like, if he did propose to her, she would just bust through the wall or something. Jessica and Jimmy are on a date. And I really like those wine bottles that they were pouring from. It said "Love is wine." Those were cute. I really like that. Then she, she told him that she's been thinking about him all day, and she starts speaking about her day and how she needs her coffee first, and pretty much telling her routine at home and how she'll wake her daughter up, and just she keeps going on and on and on about her daughter. Jessica is so me right now. Like, every time I talk to anyone, it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, I'm talking about my daughter. So I like seeing it from the outside, right? Because I feel as if Jimmy, he's listening, he's being attentive, and he's also cracking his knuckles as well, which kind of indicates to me that he he's kind of losing interest, in my opinion. So, note to self: stop talking about your daughter. Jessica asked him about his social media, like, what does the following look like? He's just throwing out some random stuff, sports, news, weather. And then she mentioned that's a major ick for her. She said it was a major issue for her in her previous relationship. Like, who would want to look at half naked women all day? The way his face, he looked up, the way he looked up as if, like, oh gosh, the way he looked up almost like, oh my God, or something. I don't know if he was envisioning half naked women or if he was like, oh shit. Going on and telling him that she is not going to put up with that, that type of disrespect. And she is not insecure. I don't want you lusting over anybody but me. Jessica, that's a lot. You cannot, I'm sure people, listen, I look at men that be working out, okay? Sometimes I scroll and I might stare or I might revisit. That doesn't mean anything. I don't even remember their name. That doesn't mean anything, Jessica. So I think that, at one point his face was kind of a little confused, but she's going on and on about it. That is a big no for her. Jessica, stop. You're scaring me, so I know you're scaring him. So Jessica is just laying it down, telling him, you're my man. I claim you as my man. I know you're dating other people. You can continue to date them. Weed out your options, but she is pretty much first draft picked. Of course, she kept going on and on and on. And he's like, oh, wow, well, you surely, you pretty much are. He's like, well, you surely don't hold back how you feel. He didn't say those words, but you tell it like it is and stuff. He might be thinking that she's a little too feisty for him. And I think, oh man, it's because she's a mom. I'm just wondering, I'm not judging her on being a mom, but I'm wondering if I'm like that as well. Hmm, I need to check myself. Okay, so he's pretty much repeating what she said shorthand. And she's like, that's me, like, I'm the wife, I'm a wife. And she is very confident because she's like, she is telling him what it is and what it's not going to be or do. Okay. And I don't think he liked that because he tried to talk a few little times and she really did not allow him to speak. She just kept going and going and going. And she's a very you can tell she probably doesn't come out of her. No, I don't want to say that. You can tell. Shit. She's almost like a Barbie doll, right? And she knows what she looks like. And she knows how. I'm sure she's gotten lots of attention, out on in the regular world. So she knows what she looks like, but he does not know what she looks like. So she needs to really still fly under the radar in a way, or not soar so high. Like, she needs to really chill, like a lot of the other women. Well, really, Laura. She needs to just really chill, because this is like the petting stage, like you pet a little baby, pet the animal to gauge his comfort level. So that's how I'm looking at her and Jimmy. Plus, I see the connection that Jimmy has with Chelsea. It's not this strict. Back in the women's court, Jessica's talking to Mackenzie, telling her that Jimmy is it. That's it. That's my first draft pick. In the men's court, in the men's quarters, Trevor, Johnny, Jeremy, and Jimmy, they're all sitting around talking, and, talking about their feelings, for their person. And someone mentioned the love triangle that we're in, Trevor and Jimmy. And Trevor's like, it's like a star, because they're in love with other people, and other people, because they're in love with multiple people. But I only saw Trevor with Chelsea. But anyways, so they're like, we're practically dating each other. That was cute. The men are dating each other. So Chelsea and Jimmy are on a date. She's squealing because, well, they're actually both squealing because they're excited that it's each other, and they're having sushi. She she starts saying how, pretty much they're speaking about, time is winding down, and they know they're going to hurt people, because they both know that they're dating other people. And she mentioned that she got asked the other day if she was dating him, and she said yeah, and then some girl got pissed. Okay. That, I mean, I think they would have showed that, right? I don't think I missed that. That, are you lying, Chelsea? Did you just lie? Did you just manipulate? Did you just put a negative, especially since, oh my gosh, since he had a date with Jessica and she was coming off so feisty? Now, with this comment that she made, he's definitely going to think that Jessica is probably like a hothead. That is frigged up. You painted a picture, you helped to paint a picture of this lady to this man. You're frigged up. That's not good. Whatever, they continue to talk, and she mentions to him that yesterday, when she broke the news to him about the marriage, she really wanted to continue to talk to him, but she was so emotional and he shut down. And he expressed to her that your news was the least stressful. I told you he was concerned about having a child already, because that's another responsibility. Taking on a wife as a man is already a major responsibility, but a wife and a child, I can see where he's not quite ready for that. Just being a man, not saying that Jessica is not going to work or does not provide for her baby, or even that the baby's dad is not in the baby's life, but he's just thinking about his responsibilities. So he's more gravitating towards Chelsea at this point. So Jeremy is going on and on about not necessarily the reasons for choosing her, but telling her that the way he envisioned life with her would be so much fun, and how he'll be using up her buddy pass. And she's just going on and on and on about how she just wants to be with someone to live life. Pretty much like live life to the fullest. Like, yeah, let's go places, let's see things, let's enjoy one another. I think, I'm not saying that it's not true, but it's almost like she's selling him a dream, because she knows that he's dating Jessica as well, and she wants him because I don't think um, I don't think Chelsea, I don't think Trevor is dating anyone else. So it's like no competition, but I want the guy that this hot girl has. There's nothing wrong with Chelsea. She's a beautiful woman. But in my opinion, Jessica looks more of the Megan Fox type. And I feel as if she's kind of playing on her character a bit. I don't like. There's something about Chelsea that's a little bit manipulative to me. And Chelsea on a date now, she is very squealy and squeaky and excited about being on the date. And I guess this is the last date. He said he narrowed it down to one, like, you're it, you're all. That's it, that's all. And she's like, wait, are you serious? Like, she's almost in disbelief. But see, she kind of led him on. Yeah, she led him on. But then again, she he said he was on a date yesterday. They showed Trevor with no other connections, no other date, only with Chelsea. And she's very excited that he's about to, well, he's talking marriage, like, yeah, this is it. But then I'm like, are you saying that to her even though you told her a few seconds ago, like, listen, you make your decision on your own, but now you're telling her, like, yeah, I can see marriage, it leading to marriage. This is a competition. This is really a game to some of these people. So she asked him, what is your biggest fear from this? He's like, what do you mean? She said, what if you see me and you don't like me? He said, that's what this experience is for. It doesn't matter. I love you. And she just like, it's like she was so shocked and surprised. See, I feel they look better together than Jimmy and Chelsea. Yeah, Trevor and Chelsea looks way better than Jimmy and Chelsea. And I feel as if for her to even mention that question about you seeing me and not liking me, she might have been comparing herself to Jessica, and possibly manipulated the guys in a way, or Jimmy in a way, to get her more on her side. Just my opinion. So not Sarah, Chelsea's back in the women's quarters, and she goes in there sobbing, saying Jimmy said I love you to her. So all of the women rally around her, even Jessica. And she's telling them that Trevor is such a sweetie or whatever, and she's used to guys being so mean to her, and for him to say I love you, you know it's, I guess it's different for her. And then she mentions, and then he kept asking about Jimmy because he knows that I'm still seeing him. So Jessica is like, what? Well, she didn't say it, but she didn't verbalize it, but her reaction was like that, and she walked away. She walked away to the kitchen to get a drink. She sees what's up. I feel like she played she played a good game. What's her name? Chelsea played a really, really good, dirty game also, because she, in my opinion, she did add to she know what she did. She Yeah. So anyways, that's how it ends. Good night.